Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with the tournament win here for the Vineyard Acres 9-hole cup in Golf Clash the game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that by clicking at the bottom in the bottom right corner. Also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. Last but not least, get the ultimate tournament guides by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Can we get this video up to 100 likes? That would be amazing and I would be forever grateful. Thank you so much for that. Follow the info box on the right hand side here on the screen and you will find the elevation adjustment for the drive for the second shot, and also if we do play a third shot you will find it there as well. Also then what the club and the ball that I do feel is going to be the most valuable ones to use on that specific hole. Obviously you don't have to use the thing that I'm using, but I do always have a plan, so listen carefully and get your note, get your pen and paper ready. In the end though, thank you so much for watching and let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1 here, we're going to play with a 20% over adjustment using 4.5 bar topspin and 4.5 bar side spin to the left. If you can play with a Kingmaker, I would recommend you to do so, because then you will get side spin 3. And that's going to be super valuable in a situation like this, where we do need all the side spin we can get. I stretch out to absolute max to just visualize and look on how my ball guideline is going to look by bouncing on a higher spot. Adjusting maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment as already explained, and then it's time to make some overpower. So I'm going to try to have the tip of the needle going past the top of the blue ring when I'm pulling back my club into overpower. Ball bounces on the fairway and we get this ball very nicely down to a position where we're going to have a short and very simple wedge towards the pin. Once again, having more side spin will obviously take you closer to the green, or maybe even on the green for a putt. Going for the wedge, have in mind here that this ball is almost, we're gonna play into straight tailwind, but I wanted to show you here one thing though that is a very common mistake, especially with lower level clubs that do not have a good ball guideline. That is that you often aim with the tip of the ball guideline inside the hole, but that's wrong, because then you will come in too hot. So leave the ball guideline short, make sure that you do have distance from the tip of it to the pin, so you compensate for the time the ball will roll. Just have that in mind please, because it would be such a bummer missing a short wedge like that for the eagle, because hole 1 will need to be an eagle if you're gonna have anything to do with winning the tournament. For hole number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we are playing with the Sniper or the Viper, and what is the tiebreaker? What makes me decide to go with the Sniper here instead of the Viper? That's because of the backspin. If I can play with backspin, that is 3.8 bars backspin, which Sniper level 6 is having, then I would be playing with the Sniper. Otherwise, I would go to the Viper, which has more backspin, even though in a lower level. Now I'm adjusting with half of the transparent ring inside the rough and half outside, aiming a little bit left of pin because the green slightly slopes left to right. I do adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, so even though we're not in completely maximum distance, we're still using maximum distance numbers. And you can see speed wise we're coming in very nicely, but we still miss a little bit to the left. So the thing that we need to focus on is that we still need to focus on our ball guideline to be a little bit left of pin, but not as much as I have here in that video. This is a tough par 3, so making a hole in 1 here is literally a good bonus. For hole number 3, I would strongly recommend to play with a side spin 3 ball, and as I don't want us to play with a Kingmaker, I would like us to play with a power 2 ball instead, which is the Katana, which is kind of like a baby Kingmaker. Maybe not, but yeah, you know the drill. 4.5 bar topspin, as much side spin to the right possible. We're then going to adjust for a maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and our first and foremost focus should be the ball guideline. straight down the fairway. Once adjusted for a max plus 10, we push up our club into max, and then we're going to, last but not least, apply half a ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. Perfect ball is obviously an essential part in it all, but with a great left and a great right, you will still stay on the fairway. Our only plan is to get over to the fairway and then prepare for a rough bump for the Albatross. From 336, we are getting ourselves into medium distance of our club with the backbone. And I play with the backbone due to a better accuracy and also a better ball guideline than many of the lower level Goliath, for an example. But the accuracy especially will help me to, if I do hit a great ball left or right, I will not struggle with that. 2 bars of topspin, aim for the ball guideline to be directly at the hole, and then we're going to adjust, once again, medium distance for club range, no elevation. And the thing to have in mind here, even though you don't see the ball guideline, make sure that 2 bars of topspin is at least applied. If you feel uncomfortable in any form, use rather more than less. Because if you use too little, the ball will not roll up towards the pin. It would actually roll up and then fall back down again. But in the end, this is a nice little boom, and an Albatross in a mini tournament like this or a 9-hole cup like this is a major advantage due to tiebreaker. For hole number 4, I was in my, I was planning to actually replicate the golden shot that we have had on this hole many of the times. Sure, the backbone is not exactly equal as the golden long iron, but it's very, it's close to it at least. I'm aiming with 4 bars of backspin, bottom part of the yellow ring by the end of the fringe. Ball guideline to the hole, and here you can see that I added a little bit of side spin to the left to try to counteract how the ball is going to bounce once hitting the ground, because we do have a little side wind, not much though, and the ball will be a little bit pushed to the right. But I would recommend you to do the following: 4 bars of backspin, bottom part of the yellow ring by the end of the fringe as shown there as well, but remove the side spin. We don't need it. We missed left side with the side spin, so remove the side spin. Only 4 bars of backspin, aim directly at the hole, and then last but not least, adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and the 20% is due to the downhill approach, so that the ball is going to then be affected more by the wind. That's why we need to add to our adjustment to be accurate. But this is a very good chance, in my opinion, to hit an hole-in-one from front tee. Yeah, this is gonna be a difficult par 5, ladies and gentlemen, and we start with 3 bars of topspin and 4.5 bar side spin to the left and power 3 ball minimum. Those of you that can play with power 4 or power 5 will benefit from that massively for the second shot. Not so much for the drive, as we will still be having the distance anyway. So 3 topspin, max left spin, half of the red ring inside the rough, but more importantly, look at the ball guideline. So you see the ball guideline not being clipped away by a tree. Adjust max plus 10, and then you push up your club to max, and then it's time to go half a ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the left in terms of curl, because the plan here is to get the ball to be as close to the left side rough possible. I don't really care how long the drive is gonna be. Like if it says 345 or 380 in yardage, it doesn't matter. The closer we are to the rough on the left, the better it's going to be for the second shot, because this hole is one of the few holes, or like let's say the Vineyard Acres overall is one of the few courses where they have a couple of holes where we play straight forward, then left or right. So it's not a linear hole, so we need to really look and think about how we position ourselves after our drive. Second shot, 1.2 backspin. It's what I'm using here. I would honestly see no problem playing 1.5 bar backspin, but my only plan here is to get this ball to green. I don't care if I come in too hot or too short or miss to the right or to the left, just that I have a putt that I'm not gonna be afraid of being able to miss. So we go with a little bit of overpower in the end, and we adjust from a maximum distance with no elevation, and then get the ball to the green and just take your freaking eagle and be happy with it, because this is a technical par 5 and we will see several players missing the eagle here on hole 5. For hole number 6, we are going to use the quarterback once again, and we're gonna go straight forward. Here I'm using 3 bars of topspin, and I'm kind of keeping myself in max distance here without not really thinking this one through. So I'm not adjusting anything. So I'm just using 3 bars of topspin, and now with tailwind it's going to be difficult for us to get the ball to stop where we want to. So I'm rolling this ball a bit too far up, in my opinion. So the ball bounces and we get to stay on the fairway, and that's okay, but I don't want to be up on that plateau, because if we're up on that plateau it's going to mean that we're not going to play any type of under adjustment for our shot. And in the end, I do not believe with this type of wind that we're going to play any under adjustment, as I want to try to keep it as simple as possible, and playing with an under adjustment will be tricky. So once making your drive, adjust as normal. Don't try to just keep yourself in max distance. 3 bars topspin, adjust max plus 10, and then you take your shot. Second shot here, we're going to use the Sniper or the Viper, depending on which club you have, at least 2.5 bar backspin on. I'm using 2.5 backspin, I'm also using a little left spin, and you know, if I would be further back down with my drive, I would most likely use a little right spin instead, sorry, a little left spin instead of the right spin that we're using now. So have that in mind, that the side spin will have to be adapted based on the position after the adjustment. Coming in way too hot here, so we do need to add a little bit more backspin. 3 to 3.5 bar backspin will be more beneficial, or we need to back up a little bit more on the fairway to give ourselves more room towards the pin. No elevation is what I'm going for here from front tee, second shot. Quasar ball to have a little side spin to work with if we are out of the position for the second shot and need to compensate with side spin. For hole number 7, which is the final of the par 3s, we're going to go with a mauling ball, which is power 0, wind 1, side spin 1. And we're going to put ourselves in absolute max distance just before you turn over into a wood club. And then we're going to eventually, as you can see here, we're gonna have to go with the yellow ring by the rough line, and then we're going to apply the spin. Now, the thing that I'm doing with the spin here is that I'm using 3 bars of backspin and then 1 bar of side spin to the right, trying to aim directly at the hole. I would recommend though to play with 1.5 bar side spin to the right and 3 bars of backspin, which will mean that you will deliberately aim a little bit to the right of the pin. This to compensate how these bounces are working once hitting the green, because we bounce where we wanted to the first time. The second time is a little bit too much to the left due to the slight downhill slope that you can see there on the game screen. So we do need that 1.5 bar right spin to get the ball get the ball to the hole. Good speed, and this is, in my opinion, a better opportunity than I thought it would be when started this tournament. So be focused, hit perfect, and see yourself being close or get in the hole with hole 7. For hole number 8, I would like us to play with a driver that gives us a distance. The quarterback will not have the power that I do want us to have, so I would like us to go back and then change to the extra mile, which is the normal, like the general club as a driver in lower level that will give you power. Max side spin right, and we're going to apply 3 to 4 bars of topspin depending on what type of level you have on your extra mile. I would say extra mile level 5 and below, do go with 3.5 topspin. If you do have extra mile level 6 or above, then you play with 3 bars of topspin instead. Adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then we're going to apply half a ball of curl to the right. And the reason we are going to apply curl is not because I like curl, I absolutely disgust it because it's inconsistent, but it's because the fairway slopes right to left, and then we need to compensate by using curl, otherwise the ball will, when it hits the ground, be pushed left, and then you will go into the rough, and then it's bye-bye eagle opportunity and most likely bye-bye birdie. Oh, that could be a movie. Bye bye birdie. Max backspin for the second shot here with the Guardian. And here, it doesn't matter if you have the Guardian level 1 or level 9. You should play with the Guardian here. Sure, there is a very, very technical rough bump that you can play, but I would not recommend it if you do feel any form of uncomfortable with your adjustment. So pick the Guardian, and now you can see that where I aim with my second bounce here, there is where I want the final bounce to be. So we are way left here, and that's also going to show on the result. Adjust maximum distance, no elevation, and you can see the ball will bounce and then up on that little slope and then fall down. So the trick with the ball falling down, it's not wrong, but you know, we need to move ourselves way right because, you know, this is a little bit too far off in my opinion. But if you rewind or if you look closely where my second bounce were after I added spin with my Guardian, there is where I want the final bounce to be. Okay? And then we go from there. As said again, 10% over adjustment for the drive, nothing for the second shot here for hole number 8. For hole number 9, we're going to play with the quarterback, and we are going to play this shot directly down the middle using 1 bar of topspin, even though it doesn't show. But it is 1 bar of topspin for those of you taking notes. Adjustment, maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we do play with a power 3 ball. The reason we do play with a power 3 ball is not so much for the drive. As you can see, we can still reach easily with the quarterback to be close to the rough, but it's more or less for the second shot. As you will notice here now that even though we have a very good drive reaching very close to the rough, we cannot reach for the green in 2. That's absolutely impossible. So please don't even, don't even think about trying. Second shot, use as much topspin that you do have, and also use the club with the most power as a wood club, which is going to be the big dog, even though it might be in a very low level. So that's what you're looking for, power and topspin. Now we do adjust for max topspin, we do adjust maximum distance with no elevation. We push up our club into max, and then we're going to also apply a couple of rings overpower. And the overpower will obviously depend on how far you came with your drive. Sometimes you will have to go with max overpower, sometimes you will have to go with just a click overpower like we did there. But the end goal is to get ourselves into short iron range. And here, as we do not have any short iron with a fully developed ball guideline, at least not many of us will do from front tee, then we will have to leave the ball guideline short of pin and trying to guesstimate how the ball guideline will roll. So now you can see that I kind of deliberately aiming a little bit to the right of the pin, whereof I should be aiming directly at the pin. So don't try with any type of offset and stuff like that. Aim directly at the pin and go for it there. Then you adjust with no elevation. You adjust based on your club distance. So if it looks like you're in medium distance, then you play medium distance. If it looks like maximum, you play maximum. If it looks like minimum, you play minimum. And then you adapt from there. This is no gimme. This is not an eagle that you can count. And this is a hole where the majority of the players will make a birdie. And therefore, an eagle here is considered an extra drop. And therefore, we are of course going to fight as hard as possible to get it, to get an advantage in the tournament. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with the tournament win here for the Vineyard Acres 9-hole cup in Golf Clash the Game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure you do subscribe to Patreon if you do want to get the ultimate tournament guides. Also hit the thumbs up before you go, and if you like the video, obviously good luck in your Golf Clash game.